Good evening. Good
Yes,
evening,
DG,
and
please.
yeah. Good evening, and a very warm welcome to all participants and our panelists for this very topical and very exciting webinar on agentic advantage, empowering the legal profession with AI. I think the topic itself is so important, so topical in nature, and so inquisitive that we've had so many people who have registered and are joining on a lazy Saturday afternoon. Um, so I think all of us are in for a treat as to what is AI, how does AI in the legal profession work, how important it is. The chamber has already done almost 10 to 12 different sessions on AI, right from investigation to in different areas in agri-tech, in the media space. But this is, I think, the first time we're doing it on for the legal profession. So let me welcome our speakers, Mr. Mahesh Parab, partner at PwC India, Mr. Ankur Mehra, Executive Director at PwC, and Prakash Narayanan, Counsel and Chief Compliance Officer, IBM India, South Asia. And of course, I extend my gratitude to our moderator, Ms. Attreyi Mukherjee, General Counsel at Tata Industries Limited and co-chair of the Bombay Chamber's Legal Committee. Thank you all for joining us today to share your experience. We are delighted to see the strong interest that this topic has generated. We have registrations from law firm partners, in-house counsel, compliance officers, legal tech, entrepreneurs, regulators, and even students of law and technology. This diversity reflects the relevance of today's conversation, as I just mentioned, and the fact that AI in law is no longer a matter for tomorrow, it is a pressing priority today. Why is this important? Because the legal profession is standing at the crossroads of traditional transformation. On one hand, lawyers remain custodians of justice and compliance. On the other hand, the tools of technology are reshaping how contracts are renewed, reviewed, how compliance is monitored, how litigation is prepared, and how risks are managed. It is here that agentic AI offers not just automation, but intelligence, adaptability, and the ability to augment legal decision making. Uh, the Chamber believes it is essential to create spaces like this where legal professionals, corporates, and technology leaders can come together to discuss both opportunities and concerns. We hope that today's session will encourage open dialogue on critical issues, ethical implications, regulatory readiness, and the skills required for intelligent lawyering in a digital first era. I am also pleased to share that Bombay Chamber will soon be rolling out a structured program in collaboration with PwC designed to help lawyers and compliance professionals build awareness and practical capabilities around AI in the legal practice. This initiative will be one of the first of its kind in India, and we look forward to participation and feedback as it takes shape. Uh, a little brief about the chamber. We are the oldest chamber in the country. On 19th of November, most probably, or nearing that, we will be celebrating our 190th 190 Foundation Day. So the chamber, as most of us know, was set up when the British ruled India. So seven Parsi gentlemen, three Britishers in 1836 decided that a chamber is needed to deal essentially at that point of time with the Britishers so that trade could announce from India. And it was set up next to the Gateway of India, where our office is still there. Of course, we have another office in Dadar right now. But from 1836 till now, the chamber has been at the forefront of driving change like this one. Any new technology that comes in, the chamber is at the forefront at every point of time to ensure that our members are the first ones to know about it. We discuss, we deliberate, we advise both the government of India, the government of Maharashtra, as well as the regulators. We're in regular touch with them to ensure that anything which concerns the industry is always shared. In fact, the recent parliamentary committee which came in from headed by Mr. Panda on taxation, Bombay Chamber had almost a 1 hour. We had the largest delegation. We were the first one to present to them in Mumbai at the Oberoi, and a lot of our recommendation was adopted by this committee in the new taxation bill. So from that to the insurance bill, which is always scheduled, the Bombay Chamber has been playing a very active role in each of these. So My request, in case you're not member, please become members of the chamber. Please join various committees which operate here. Ensure that there is a dialogue which is ongoing. Learn from what the chamber has to offer, but more importantly, also contribute to whatever the chamber can do for a lot of members. Not only some of the members who are accomplished today, but a lot of MSMEs. We have over 3,000 MSMEs which are regularly looking at various avenues so that they can learn and be a contributing factor. With that, thank you all once again, and hope you have a very enjoyable evening. I'll not take much time. Over to you, Attreyi.
Hi, I think uh, this is Neha. Would you be rolling out the program?
Yes, I'd like to invite Mr. Mahesh Parab to give his ideas on Agentic AI, please.
Sure. First of all, thank you, Mr. Khosla, Bombay Chambers, and my senior panelist for giving this opportunity from PwC. We are very thankful. Good to see 100 plus people on Saturday evening, as Mr. Khosla said, just before the Ganesh festival in Mumbai. So I'm sure the topic is interesting, and we'll try to make it as practical, as interesting, and near to the real world. So we thought we'll have very interesting conversation between me and Ankur. I mean, I'm coming with a background of agentic AI, and how the industry is adopting. And Ankur, being the practitioner, will join me in some time, to talk about how Ankur is looking at this topic. Pushkar, why don't you push the slides on the screen? We'll keep it very light slides, but idea is to present what industry is looking at, when we talk about AI. And then we thought agentic is a new buzzword. We'll uncover the word agentic AI, everyone understand, but how exactly we are moving into the agentic AI journey, specifically in the law and legal world. That is what the agenda will be. If I really go to the next slide, where we thought let's take a pause for a moment and look at how the world is looking at AI, specifically in legal world. And here are some snippet, from the some of the famous people who are talking about it. But if I really want to take away from this slide, or take away from this notes, is that AI is no more a future trend. It's here, it's powerful, and it's challenging us to rethink the way we operate. And we have to look at what we do, how we do, with help of that lens. And that's exactly we will uncover in upcoming slide. While these slides talk about the overall point of view from some of the legal professionals, we thought next slide will cover how the boardroom is talking about it. Before we go into the agentic, this slides gives a perspective from two angles. PwC, as a global firm, every year we conduct a CEO surveys, and globally the top-notch CEOs participates in that. The recent CEO surveys talks about the adoption of tech and AI is very high. And if you notice, India is dominating that chart. We while the on an average 47 to 48% global CEO is talking about AI and technologies to be important stakeholder or important pattern to be used in their growth strategy. In India, we saw 59% of those. So that's definitely a positive thing towards moving towards AI. While that's talk about boardroom, if you look at other side of the story, which again another survey done by the Thomson Reuters, where they are talking about what exactly will help me to really grow into the industry. And if you notice there, the Gen AI and AI is dominating that survey as well. If I really combine this, two data points, one is obviously a CEO, one is tech. We are seeing AI is now moving from hype to boardroom priority. Definitely every board meetings, if you look at the annual reports of the large industries, people are talking about AI, integration of AI into the core workflows. Previously AI was always thought about, anywhere there is a volume, typically back office, middle office, customer service. In the BFSI world is where typically AI started or picking up very fast. But now we started seeing the integration of this into a core workflows. And third and last but not the least, professional must redefine their roles with respect to AI, without diluting the core principle of the value they bring, or the importance they bring with respect to their own principles onto the ground. If I go to the next slide, while these slides talk about industry, the CEOs, we also saw, let's assume that if we really want to get into the AI into our organization, which are the departments will pick that up fast. And very happy to say, in mid of 100 odd law experts onto the call, legal or law is at number two. This survey talks about, obviously this survey is for US and Europe, but typically we have followed that when Western starts it, India follows it. So even if I pick up the top two, and even if go very conservative, and even say 20 to 30% of the people say that legal is the one which will adopt the technology fast, I think this webinar justify the need of it, which says that we really have to think about how can we go into the AI journey altogether. So while this initial slide was shaped up to really put a thought process that AI and automation is required, now we'll slowly go into the topic and try to see if I really want to use this in a legal world. I'm not the legal expert, and Ankur will come and talk about some of these areas or some of the sub functions. Either it is corresponding drafting, contract drafting, memo drafting. There are different processes where we can see the good potential of AI. And as I said, after the tech slides or the tech point of view, Ankur is going to talk about that. There is a good potential of use of AI in legal. But when we are talking about AI is a 35,000 feet view. Will I really need the complete AI gamut? Can I really start with a smaller thing? And that's exactly last 6 months, or rather more than 6 months, we saw the trend of agents coming into picture. And when we are saying agent, these are the agents which are going to help us. And defining agent or explaining agent to a non-tech was an interesting part. So we thought, let's put across the way we as a human. And again, this is industry agnostic. Pushkar, if you can get one side of the story. We as a human, and I'm saying pick up any practical any task. We as a professional, we as a person, when we pick up any task, we typically use this of the activities. There is a brain who take decisions, decide, plan the things for us. We use eye ears to read document, hear the conversations. We use speech for communication, very important when you are interacting with different stakeholders. We use hand to do lots of data entry, typing, using different systems. Specifically, from last 10-15 years, we saw the tech systems, contract management systems, and all the typical IT systems are very much active in normal legal world of the show. But last but not the least is a heart. We take right decisions while doing this. There is a moral, there is a empathy while we taking a decision. So we thought, while we as a humans are very successful doing all of this, if I really want a agent, which is a AI agent, which is a generative AI agent coming into the my industry, my organization, how it will support me. And that's exactly some of the tech which are already present in the industry. I guess we as a some of us are already use lots of digitization mechanism. Half of our court orders are already digitized in India as well. We are already using some or other technologies to read the policy document. So, like eyes and ears, we have computer vision as a technology which was there in the industry, is going to help us. We are using some of the automation technologies to replace the manual activities. That is going to help me to do that. Voice bot, chat bot, which we are already using in our day-to-day life. I guess half of us no more use the bank website. We interact via their chatbot or voice bot when we have any trouble with our banking or financial or insurance systems. So while all these technologies were there, one of the change or one of the powerful change came in 2023 is a generative AI. I guess for most of us, generative AI means just a chat GPT, but it has multi-layer benefit onto the table. In the specifically in the AI agentic world, this generative AI is playing the role of brain. The way in human, activities, brain controls what to do. In agentic world, we are anticipating, and we already solved these problems in the industry where Gen AI will guide us how to navigate via tech. And that's exactly, if we really, combine all of this technology together, we are practically talking about agent. We are talking about legal agent. We have very interesting demo down the line with one of the product which we use in the market, and there are many more products available who talk about agentic. But if I really now go to the next slide, while we saw all these activities together, agent will help us to do that. But 35,000 feet, again, agent is going to do three things. One, which is the user interaction. We as a lawyer, we as a legal professional, we as a horizontal GC counsel in the organization, we interact with stakeholder. That can be internal, external, or the gamut of people who interact with legal department. We are seeing that's the area where agents are going to play very interestingly. And the good thing is, we are seeing this agents or this tech allows us to remove the barrier of language. We are talking about agents which can switch from one language to another language. We are talking about agent which can talk on WhatsApp, talk on emails, talk on chatbot, talk on phone. So the user interaction layer will be multi-facade, multi-channel. Typically in tech world, there is a famous word called as omni-channel. So we are talking about agent, which will be omni-channel and trying to help some of us who are a legal expert. Planning and action, which is a core. When we talk about agent, it's a brain and hand. That's a very famous articulation where brain is Gen AI and hand is a automation. So AI and automation will take care of most of the rudimentary tasks, reflection and self-fill, because we are seeing this tech or this agents will also uh, you know self-learn from their previous pattern. While this is getting shaped up as a agentic, one of the important factor we as a human we have to play. And when we started playing with agentic, or when we started even playing robotic, we used to give this example that every one of us has a hidden robot or agent inside us which do this repetitive task, rudimentary, non value added task. If we can get that out and give it to this tech agent, we as a human can focus on much value added, much logical, much ethical, which where humans involvement is required can do. So idea is that with agentic, can I really go and move on to the tech world? If you can go next. So while we talk about how CEOs are thinking, what are the good activities happening in the industry, and how the agentic is shaping up, agentic is not the switch where we can just turn it on. We are normally seeing the roadmap, and we are more than happy to cover this. If you heard Mr. Khosla talking about BCCI's training, in BCCI's training, we are going to cover a couple of this area where can you really start from the research assistant. Most of us today are using ChatGPT. ChatGPT is very similar to a research assistant. We are seeing lots of people are deploying legal assistant where people can ask questions, but that's just a part of it. If you really want to augment AI into our day-to-day activities, we have to cut across moving from research assistant to really autonomous counsel. And there are various ways to do it. There are methodologies to do it. I'm sure we'll share more example into the training sessions which will be followed after this webinar. But it's practical, as I said, it's no more hype. And that's exactly where I thought we'll go to the next slide, and uh, I'll like to get Ankur onboarded, who is a practitioner, legal representative, or he himself is a lawyer using AI in best of his capacity. Ankur, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Mahesh. Good evening, everyone. Uh, I would first like to thank BCCI for giving us this opportunity to share our experience and views on the use of AI in the legal profession. Actually, look after the legal and risk function in PwC advisory side of business. We were actually the early adopters of AI, and now we use AI in most of our in-house legal and risk work. Honestly, when I first heard about the use of Gen AI for legal work, I was very skeptical. We have spent prime years of our life going through rigorous law courses in law schools and understanding the concepts and nuances of law. And as such, legal profession requires application of legal acumen, interpretation of laws, navigating through complex human centric problems, and most of all, having a sense of right and wrong, having a sense of justice. I had my doubts that AI can do anything meaningful in the legal domain. But once I started using it, I realized that while AI lacks the quintessential human logic, reasoning, and wisdom, it can surely augment our functioning by assisting us in various ways. So, let me share some insights based on my experience. First is, what can AI do in the legal profession? Like Mahesh just explained, it can do various kind of tasks for us. But largely, AI can do most of the repetitive or grunt work, and with some coaching, it can also assist us in more complex works. It can help us in research, definitely, in drafting contracts, yes, in drafting notices, yes, in drafting petitions, yes. It can do predictive analysis in litigation. It can help in regulatory compliances and due diligence. I'll give some few practical examples. Let's say if one needs to find out that out of 1,000 executed NDAs, how many have perpetual confidentiality duration? And AI can actually do it in minutes. Similarly, let's say many companies have various internal policies. We can create an AI agent which can be a repository of all these policies, and then we can ask simple queries from this agent, and it can give us quick and good answers. We don't have to search through all the policies. Similarly, we can give AI access to data rooms, and it can help us in due diligence process, and at an incredible speed at that. So AI can do a lot of tasks for us, and it largely depends on what tools we use and how we coach and use them. Second is, how does AI do it, or how do we do it? Now, like Mahesh said, AI is a rapidly evolving technology. I remember when I first started using it, and it's not so long ago. Agentic AI was not even in the picture. Over the period, we have seen an explosion in the number of AI tools and technology in the market. So there are various ways in which we can leverage AI now. Now, some tools are prompt-based tools, basically meaning that there is a tool, you put in a question, you put in a prompt, and it will give you an answer. Some tools can allow you to create your own AI agent, like I talked about policies. You can put all the policies, create an agent, and ask questions, it will give you answers. Some of the tools like Harvey and all are coming up with their own pre-built agents also. Also, we can have captive AI tools, which means that specifically curated AI tools, which help you leverage your own type of tasks. I've heard that some law firms like Khetan have a captive AI called Kia, I think, right? So that is another way in which we can use AI. So there are various ways in which we can use AI, but using AI would also need some strategy on how to go about it and some coaching on how to use these tools. To my mind, AI will be only as good as the lawyers who are using it. Third is there a benefit of using AI? Definitely. I think AI is the ability to transform legal and risk functions and professions. And honestly, I've witnessed this transformation in my in-house role. Because AI can do the non-core work for us, and it can do the heavy lifting for us. This assists the professionals to focus more on core areas, client relationships, strategy, and it also brings speed, agility, and accuracy. It can actually benefit us in more ways than we can think of. Fourth is, does AI have any limitations or challenges? The simple answer is yes. Like any other technology, AI has its own set of unique challenges and limitations. I'm not sure, but you might have heard of words like hallucination, which is one of the several limitations that AI have. There could be issues related to transparency and confidentiality, and those are the limitations as well. Depending on the work that we are using the AI for, there could be other challenges and limitations as well, which we can talk about later in the session. But it is important to understand that while we adopt and leverage AI technology, we also keep implementing and evolving our guardrails necessary to ensure that we are aware of these limitations and we have got them mitigated or neutralized. I think we have a demo of an AI tool which will give us a first hand real feel of what AI can do, specifically in the legal profession. Let us have a look at that demo and then we can take this conversation forward. Yes, Neha?
Sure.
Thanks, Ankur.
Abhishek, you.
Yeah, thanks, Ankur. So in terms of the demo, we have identified a particular tool that we work with, which is called Leah. Leah in today's scenario not only helps with an autonomous contract creation, but it also helps in doing the first level of redlining basis the rules what we are defining in the application. It will also take care of the obligation management and the necessary actions when it comes to extracting any key information from a given contract. Leah also is built on a chat-based engine where you can talk to the contracts, get relevant information. For example, if you want to talk about an arbitration clause, you can ask the model directly to mention how this arbitration clause is handled in a particular contract. It will also help compare between multiple contracts to say that what are the different ways an arbitration is handled. Going to the next slide, we will see the way the obligation management is handled for today's demo. It'll go through the entire video to look at how the obligation is taken care of, how it's identified from the contract, and what are the actions which the agent is performing. Pusha, can go to the next slide, please.
Leah is intelligent, agentic, obligation management. Let's talk about obligation management and why it's crucial for effective contract lifecycle management. Contracts are the bloodline of an organization, but the reality is that they don't live in isolation. They are part of a larger ecosystem of documents and information. For example, take a commercial construct or SLA obligation. The obligation is in the contract, but the implementation of this obligation lives elsewhere, such as an invoicing or ticketing system. Leah brings in both the extraction and understanding from the contract, as well as adjacent data to not only identify what is needed for each obligation, but also actually fulfill them. Leah enables agents by giving them access to information living elsewhere, to marry the contractual and adjacent information, and to drive data, analysis, and fulfillment of the obligations on the contract. Using Leah, gain a 360-degree approach to document processing, ensuring that every key term and obligation is dynamically classified and extracted. Leah connects seamlessly with third-party systems to provide a robust framework, not only tracking but fulfilling obligations throughout your contract's lifecycle. In this walkthrough, we will explore how Leah empowers you to efficiently manage contracts from inception to completion, offering intelligent obligation automation and insightful analytics to keep you ahead in your contractual commitments. Let's dive in. Here, I am reviewing a master services agreement, which has several different types of obligations. I can access this contract directly from Drive, preview the document and critical data, or navigate directly to the key obligations. Here, you will see that there are different tabs across the top: financial, compliance, delivery, and performance, as well as termination and renewal. Each tab represents a topic, and each topic has its own criteria and strategy for identifying and understanding these obligations, which means we need agents to power each of these topics, each being an expert in their area of understanding. Along the top, Leah reports on the total obligations for a contract, as well as upcoming obligations in the next 30 and 60 days. Users can refresh or rerun the obligation agents using the refresh icon, as well as export their obligations for further analysis. Let's review some of the obligations. You can easily preview these obligations directly in the document as well, by clicking on the eye icon, allowing users to gain understanding of the surrounding context for each obligation. Here, under Financial, you will see there are not only invoice requirements, but also credit requirements if an SLA obligation is not met. This means that Leah's agents not only understand the financial and delivery obligations separately, but also can connect them as well as action the financial obligation when necessary. In our initiative, each agent will gain access to the right source of information to marry the contractual and adjacent information to drive data, analysis, and fulfillment of the obligations on the contract. This is represented here by the activity tracker, where notifications and calendar reminders can be configured, as well as connectivity to information living in third-party systems, enabling Leah to gain the information she needs to fulfill each obligation. Leah is here to help at every step of the contracting process, not only in the initial negotiations, Have a question about how an obligation works, or what happens if an obligation is not met? Simply ask Leah. Here, let's ask Leah. For a client who has Tier 3 usage, averaging 500 questions per day, and there is a 3-week severity 1 SLA violation, calculate the total credits due. Leah not only can calculate the credits due based on simple math, but understands that there is also a credit cap included in the contractual language, and she will not go above this cap when providing her final calculation. She also references where in the contract these details can be found, via her source reasoning. With Leah, you gain not only a powerful ally in managing contracts, but also a strategic partner that enhances your organization's efficiency and compliance. By seamlessly integrating contract data with adjacent systems, Leah provides a comprehensive, intelligent approach to obligation management that ensures no detail is overlooked. Leah empowers you with the tools and insights needed to stay ahead in your contractual commitments. As we wrap up this demonstration, it's evident that Leah revolutionizes the way organizations manage their contractual obligations. By seamlessly integrating contract data with adjacent systems, Leah provides a comprehensive, intelligent approach to obligation management that ensures no detail is overlooked. From the initial stages of contract negotiation to the fulfillment of complex obligations, Leah empowers you with the tools and insights needed to stay ahead in your contractual commitments. With Leah, you gain not only a powerful ally in managing contracts, but also a strategic partner that enhances your organization's efficiency and compliance. Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing how Leah can transform your day-to-day legal and contracting needs. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out.
So, as you guys saw in this particular setup, Leah AI, who's supporting the legal representative, is not only working on understanding the contract, it can also extract all the obligations within the contract, help you categorize them, track them, and also notify what is going to be the benefits, what is going to be the action which has to be taken in case an obligation has been breached. Mahesh, back to you.
Thanks, Abhishek. So before we head to the panel, we thought just we'll close with one interesting slide which talks about two gentlemen who are exactly talking the sense, which says, the status quo in the legal world will not work. I mean, we have to start thinking about using AI. Third, and very important one, what Mark is saying is, we have to coexist with AI. AI is going to be with us, and the way we adopted previous, IT transitions, we moved away from bookkeeping to the ERPs, the CRM of the world, or we moved very effectively into the cloud or internet era. I guess this is the era of agents, era of Gen AI. So we have to collaborate with AI. With that, maybe back to Neha for going to the panel discussion.
Right. Thank you, sir. May I call upon Ms. Attreyi to please take this conversation forward?
Hi, thank you, Neha, and very happy to be here. And as DG pointed out, a very, very topical discussion here. And thank you, Mahesh and Ankur, for taking us through some of those initial slides on agentic AI and what it can do for, the legal field, especially how it can automate several legal processes and works. But Mahesh, at the same time, I was also looking at, our participants and, what the kind of questions that they are posing. So I think, Mahesh, given your vast experience and knowledge of, artificial intelligence as a technology, I think there are a couple of more involved questions, but some fundamental questions as well. And including, what is the difference between Gen AI and agentic AI? Because I think people are more familiar now with, the tools such as ChatGPT, Claude. I think most of us are using Copilot as well. So I think we understand what is Gen AI, what is, LLM, the fundamental technology. But I think that, the understanding around agentic AI is still not as clear as, it should be, especially, if you're going to be using agentic AI tools. So if you can elaborate a little on that.
Sure. So the way as rightly stated, Gen AI was the step one in the overall journey of the redefining AI. Gen AI came, couple of years back. If you look at the way ChatGPT helps us, correct? We ask question and it get back with the answer. And currently the ChatGPT is trained on, huge public library data, and that's exactly, if I replicate ChatGPT in my legal world, then maybe I can train similar LLM models with my organizational data, or maybe some of the historical data, and it will give me answer based on those, documents, those previous court orders, previous policies. So that is Gen AI, where you ask question and you get answer. The primary difference between Gen AI and agentic, as you saw when we drafted agent story, the human versus agent slide, if you can remember, agent will also perform action apart from giving you answer. While giving answer itself is an action, but that is limited to the, pulling the information and giving back the answers. When we are talking about agentic AI, we are no more limited ourselves to ask question and get answer, but ask questions, get answer, and based on that answer perform the activity wherever it is required. It can be in your contract lifecycle management, it can be in your ERPs, in case your question is linked to the procurement or the some of the fundamental data which lies in some of the systems. It can be in CRM if it is the question linked to the CRM. So basically we are talking about, just imagine in the normal layman word, you go to chat gpt, interact, ask them to book, find the best air ticket which is cheaper, it will give me the answer and say that, oh, why don't you book for me? So that action, if chat gpt start doing action, it becomes agent in a normal world. Obviously in a practical world today, just diversing away from a legal, in a finance, if you heard about account payable, where we pass the invoices, book the invoices, or a purchase order based on the contract, we create the purchase order, all those today are done by the agents. Because for understanding the contract, understanding the purchase order, we use gen ai, but performing action in SAP, Oracle, or any other systems, we use robots. Someone also asked RPA in between. RPA is what one which is helping Gen AI to become agentic. So basically, LLM plus automation is agentic in a nutshell.
Great. There is another interesting question for you, Mahesh, which talks about, again, purely on the technology, that while, there is a accuracy issue with foundation models, how do you see to lower the impact of this cascading effect of this limitation, especially when there are multiple steps involved in agentic AI framework? Because and I see that this is a question which I see in a lot of forums, and in this particular forum also I'm seeing that there are many questions on the same thing, that how do we tackle this accuracy issue which we currently see? Because very often and in a very recent example, I was working on Claude and discussing something on representations and warranties, and I had originally told Claude that I was on the sell side, but Claude is telling me that you should ask for these reps and warranties, which are clearly meant for example, the buy side. So then I had to remind Claude that, hey, look, I think you got it the other way around. And then Claude is like, oh, yes, that is correct. I made a mistake, and, so on and so forth. So something, basic things like that, and for which, one worries that, if there is a dependence on these tools. So your thoughts on that, Mahesh?
Yeah, so I'll answer it in two ways. And first one, I like to give very, very simple scenario. Just imagine LLM based solution is like you going for the exams and you score a mark. You score 92%. Someone say 90 to 92%. If I want to score 100, then I need to study more. Just imagine same exam situation where I allow you to write the answers with open book, which means I am allowing you to write an exam, but I will give you the open book. So you can refer to open book and give the exam. Then obviously the score will be higher. The same methods is used in the AI world. People who have played with chat GPT, there is a concept of RAG, retrieval, augmentation, and generation. This is that open book. So what we are seeing, someone like Leah. So Leah is not using chat GPT model. It will never give you 92% accuracy. Leah has used fundamental LLM concept and wrote that open book for a legal world. If I talk about another example, in a pharma world, there is a chat pharma or GPT, bio GPT as a LLM. So what they have done, they are using same LLM models, but trained on the pharma nuances. So what we are seeing, if you really want to, increase the accuracy, you will require this LLM. So vertical LLMs is the new fundamental. You'll start seeing lots of vertical agentic companies as well. There are companies like Harvey, Contract Pod, they are only giving you solution in legal world because they are only focusing on LLM. There are companies who is giving only health and life sciences. There are companies who is only solving insurance. So all of this are the way to increase the accuracy. But in a nutshell, basically, like any other previous AI technologies as well, which showed that it will never achieve 100%. That's not an aim of technology as well. Even if you get 70 to 80%, have a human and AI combination. Again, giving reference of account payable, parking and posting is a very classic example in finance world, or a maker and checker is the word where we are saying allow AI to make for you, but don't remove the checker. Someone also asked question that
The
does
human
that mean
validation piece.
yes, yes, give rudimentary task. What Ankur talked about, anything which is repetitive, anything where you do not require very large judgmental power, start with that. Then slowly it will increase. And we have seen. I mean, if you are following Chat GPT as well, correct? They are launching GPT-4, GPT-5, and every model
Yes.
is improving. So
Yes.
we have to adopt the same methodology in our legal world when we launch it.
Yeah, yeah. And may I add in this? So this is a real world experience what you say, Attreyi. And in the earlier times, and it's kind of funny because AI in the legal has just come. So earlier times mean about a year or two back only. When we started using some tools, we struggled to get the right answers because those were more prompt based tools. We spend a lot of time in curating our prompts and creating a prompt library which gives us a more and more accurate answer. And the more we talked, the more we gave context, the more we explained what we are looking for through those prompts, the better those answers started becoming. So AI is more, it's like a junior lawyer. If we are talking in legal parlance, it's like a junior lawyer. The more we are coaching, the more we are spending time in telling it that this is exactly what we need, the better results we get. When we move to the agentic AI piece, the agents are some way already coached. So it's more of a lateral hire, right? They know a lot of things. Like Leah is developed by lawyers. They understand the nuances. So there you don't have to use so many prompts. Even in Harvey, if you see, there are inbuilt agents within Harvey which can help you do a due diligence much faster. You don't have to develop a prompt library for it. You still need to give some prompts, but you don't have to do that much prompting as you used to do earlier. So the output of AI will depend on, like I said, it's as good as the lawyer who is using it, how you are coaching it, right? And the human supervision cannot go away. It has to be tech enabled, human led initiative only. Without a human supervision, using AI blindly will not help. There are several cases, several matters that have come to the fore. AI can hallucinate. We need to have a guards on.
Thank you, Ankur, for that. Building on this, one concern, even when we saw your very wonderful demo on, Leah, the question is that, what happens to protect the information that is fed? So that is something that, again, a very I would say a very common concern
Yes.
that is there in the legal field, because one of the key currency of legal practice is confidentiality, right? It is higher as compared to other professions as well.
Exactly.
So, because it is legally mandated, there is a concept of attorney-client privilege,
Yes.
right? Of course, any information can be, as in, there's a lot of sensitive information that any organization has, but more so with lawyers, when clients consult us, so they expect complete confidentiality. So the confidentiality piece, coupled with also, any kind of, personal information, again, around which there are very strict legal guardrails. So how do we ensure that, when lawyers are using any of these AI tools, what are the checks that, one must do to make sure that, the data is, secure and confidential?
Yes. So the answer rests on two legs. One is the technology, right? So when we use, let's say, Chat GPT, whatever we are feeding uh, into that, it is also getting used to coach, right? So the data that we are putting there is also becoming public data where the tool itself is using it to coach itself, right? And then there are these captives where the tool is hosted in your environment. Whatever you are putting up in that tool is not getting used to coach the AI at the back end. In fact, in PwC, the tools that are approved are generally in a captive environment where whatever we are putting is only being used to give results to us and not to coach the AI per se. Mahesh, keep me honest here, right? So this is the one leg where technology, how you are uh, curating it for your particular set of tasks comes in technological aspect. The other is a more legal aspect where we need to be definitely sure that the data that we are inputting, whether we are inputting it for the larger within the firm, also there are Chinese walls in legal. We have seen this, right? So what kind of data needs to be inputted so that the others do not get access to it is something that needs to be strategized when we are creating, curating our AI tools and strategies. So it will depend largely on strategy. Also, this, it is quite possible that, I think in EU there were discussions about personal data being put on these portals, and these portals are generally hosted on cloud, and we don't know where the data is resting and to what extent it is getting used by other people. So putting that kind of data, we can have mitigations around it, like we may mask it, we may anonymize it to the extent that is necessary to ensure that these data are protected and are not used for larger public purpose, but only for the limited purpose for which we want it. Mahesh, would you have anything
Yeah.
to add from the
Yeah,
technology
just
side?
one interesting twist to this and positive twist. If you're following the trend, Meta has launched on-prem LLM, and
On-prem,
almost
yes.
half of the industries is playing with it because obviously all other LLM you push data into the cloud or to their environment, and yes, there are VPCs as you mentioned, captives. We can create a virtual private cloud for your organization so data doesn't go out, but still it's on a cloud. If you really want to get away from that, lots of on-prem models are getting designed, and I'm sure in next 6 months or
Yeah.
so you'll see the models which previously required huge infrastructure will run on your laptop. There are IITs who are running developing model run on my laptop, will not publish data out, and some of those Counsel will get address. I guess Prakash may answer that from a compliance angle as well, but I guess we are saying right road towards that compliance, expectation of industry.
One thing I would like to add for, all our delegates here, if you are using a free, tool, whether it is the Copilot that comes with your Microsoft Edge, or whether, it is the free version of Chat GPT and all, that experience is not, as smooth or great as, a subscribed model. But do get a corporate subscription, or make sure that the guardrails around where the data is stored and all is perfect before you start sharing information. Also, do mask the names of your clients and any other personal information or any material information. Please mask that while you're asking. So some things that Ankur just mentioned. With that, I would like to now ask Prakash to kind of take us through some of the the ethical issues surrounding use of AI. Prakash, we all agree that technology inherently is neither good or bad. right? Another example is nuclear energy, right? If we can use it to make bombs as well as, use it to harness energy. So again, same with AI, that, while, we can harness it for, good, but at the same time that, if we use it in a unethical way, we can suddenly be looking at a Skynet nightmare. I don't know how many of our generation know about Skynet, but anyway. So Prakash, I see also a lot of delegates have asked questions around the fact that you would have seen that, where are we going with this in terms of, are we, over relying upon AI? And this over reliance, would it, turn lawyers' brains into mush effectively? That would we be, less intelligent, less solution oriented because we are completely relying upon it? While lawyers also, Prakash, as you know, we've been quite agile in, technology adoption. So even when the internet came, we very quickly were able to adapt to, research engines, right? So we had our Manupatras and LexisNexis and all of that to help us with research, which really cut down a lot of man hours, right? Then we had already automated our data rooms, etc. So make sure that, diligence could be, you don't need an army of lawyers trudging from one geography to another geography to conduct a due diligence, because everything could be uploaded to a data room. So we have seen a very quick uptake by lawyers of technology. And similarly, we expect that, lawyers would also harness AI, and as, the technology also develops. But then essentially with, the quick uptake of AI, we also need to, study about, and we need to sort of also adapt the ethical guardrails around, use and, deployment of AI. So can you talk us through some of the key things that, lawyers in their practice, whether in-house or as, law firm lawyers, we should keep in mind while using artificial intelligence tools?
Great. Thank you, Attreyi. A number of the other panelists mentioned a number of terms as it relates to Gen AI and Agentic AI, right? Hallucination, which is the idea that Gen AI or Agentic AI tools may come up with, say, case precedents that just don't exist, just in order to support the argument or support the answer that you are seeking. Or issues like fairness and bias, and that relates to the training data that's used in LLMs that are used in various legal responses. So if the training data is already trained on data that has inherent biases, then that's what shows up in your output as well, right? Another issue is, as you mentioned and others mentioned as well, data privacy and confidentiality. So all of those are some of the ethical issues that come up. But if you want to boil that all down to sort of one phrase that I like to use, it is trust, right? As lawyers, using agentic AI or Gen AI tools, are we able to trust the output that it provides? One. Second, as we use this technology, we are using this to serve our clients, right? Whether that's in-house corporations, whether that's third-party clients as advocates. And the question is whether they can trust us to provide the answer that we ought to be providing them as professionals. As legal professionals, we have professional obligations, whether we are covered by the Bar Council of India rules because we are advocates as under the BCI rules or not as in-house counsel. Regardless, we have a certain moral and ethical standard that as lawyers and frankly as professionals that we are expected to uphold. So, with that trust comes the question of when we are using technology and tools to further our output, right? Whether to make it more efficient or to make it more accurate, the kinds of questions that we have to think about in the back of our minds is this technology explainable? Can we explain if someone asks us, whether that's a regulator or our client or the judge, or the business person who's asking, how did you come to this conclusion? Is it explainable even when we are using AI? Is it fair? Meaning, have these issues of fairness and bias, does the tool that we are using, does that account for all of that? And do we understand how it accounts for all of that? Is it robust? Which means, can it regularly provide the same kind of response when asked the same kinds of questions? Is it transparent? Meaning, again, do we know how the system was built? What kind of data did it use? As you provided the example, right? ChatGPT and other models that are built on publicly available data, there are questions around copyright issues on the data that it's been modeled on. There are issues of hallucination. So is it transparent as to how that model is built? And finally, of course, privacy, right? As lawyers, we know you talked about client attorney privilege and confidentiality, and we know that that's one of the key parameters on which we build our trust, right? And how clients trust us. So those are some of the parameters, explainability, fairness, robustness, transparency, privacy. These are, I would say, sort of 5 pillars that whether we are building an agentic AI solution in-house or just using some solution that is available commercially, we have to think about what are our ethical compasses. Does it meet these requirements of all of these? How does it meet those? And are we then able to therefore maintain that trust that our clients expect when we use this technology to provide ultimate solutions?
Um, Prakash, as you know that, in the US, there's a concept of upjohn warnings, right? Which is essentially when the in-house counsel tells the, employee in any kind of an employee dispute that, it is, I am the company's counsel. So what you share with me is therefore not covered with privilege, or, I am not your counsel. Really, I mean, in a nutshell, that's what it is. Similarly, in a similar vein, you must have come across this a very viral comment by Sam Altman some time back, saying that people who are using, everyone who's using these AI tools should remember that the AI tool is not your lawyer, not your therapist, not your doctor, and therefore the information that you share is not confidential. As opposed to the information, exactly to your point, that it is the lawyers who are members of the bar council, who are governed by bar council regulations, governed therefore by the Evidence Act of attorney-client privilege. So do you think that when clients approach law firms or lawyers or even court practitioners, do you think that some kind of a little bit of a something in the vein of a upjohn warning, or something that can be inherently provided by, say, for example, a PwC's LIA, or something like a Jurisphere, or any other dedicated legal tools, that this is still just a tool that is there to aid the legal field and not to act as a lawyer itself? So how do you see, because again, Prakash, I hear so many, concerns, people say that, oh, lawyers will get replaced by AI lawyers. And I'm like, and that's not happening till AI tools get registered as, members of the Bar Council. So what are your thoughts on that, Prakash?
Yeah, fair point, Attreyi. This is really, and one of the other questions was similar, right? About liability, right? Where does liability attach if there is an issue? And of course, as providers of tools, of any providers of any tool, these service providers want to give you disclaimers, right? That's the way they operate, and that's the right way for them to do business. Ultimately, I think the way to think about whether it's agentic AI or Gen AI tools is exactly that. It's a tool. It's a tool just as lawyers previously used or currently use Manupatra or any other database tools. It's just that this tool now can do more for you. So it's really up to you as a professional, as a lawyer, as a compliance professional, whatever professional you are, to use the tool in a manner that makes most sense for you and for your client and for your business. But at the same time, ultimately realizing that the responsibility lies with you. You can't just, and others mentioned it, right? Oversight. You can't just offload everything to some other tool, to some technology, and say, I've washed my hands off and it's going to give me an answer. You've got to still apply your mind. You've got to still have that oversight and not blindly trust. I mean, there have been multiple cases already of judges hauling up lawyers who've used cases that were hallucinated and made up by
Yes.
Gen AI tools. So that's the last place you want to be. Having said all of that, should lawyers and other professionals seriously consider using some of these tools? Absolutely, because at the end of the day, it's about enhancing your productivity. It's about making you more efficient. It's about making you and your business unit able to provide services more accurately, respond more quickly, and therefore free up time, as Ankur and Mahesh had mentioned, to take on other roles and other activities and be more useful in a more strategic manner to the business or to your clients.
Thank you, Prakash, for that. I'm cognizant of the time. So, Neha, do we have to close now?
Sure, ma'am. If you would like to take up any other.
Would our panelist maybe want to provide any closing remarks?
No, I
I
guess
invite
I
each
just
one
need
of you to provide your thoughts. I think this has been a wonderful discussion, and we managed to weave some of the core questions of our delegates also into the discussion. So, closing remarks from each one of you, please.
So some of the questions, I mean, very interesting questions asked by the people who joined the call. I'm sure some of this question will get answered by BCCI training which they are conducting. But one common theme, and this is not for legal, as Prakash highlighted, will AI take over a job? No, but someone who learn AI and has LLB degree will always be preferred over someone has normal degree. So, and that is applied to all profession. The chartered accountants are learning AI, so CA with AI knowledge will be preferred over normal CA. So I guess we can't avoid AI. I mean, that's my closing statement. Ankur?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think I agree largely with what Mahesh is saying, that firstly, it's not going to replace lawyers, definitely. Second, using AI, but using it with a sense of responsibility will be very important. Like I said, AI is there. There are so many tools, but we'll need to make some strategy and build the guardrails to ensure that something which we are using to be more productive, faster, have a moat, does not bring us down. So it's equally important to not lose sight on the guardrails that we have, and we need to upskill our teams to be able to use it responsibly. If we are able to use it responsibly, we will have that moat. We will move forward very fast.
Prakash, your thoughts.
Sure, thank you. First, I'd like to thank the BCCI and Attreyi for moderating this panel, and the BCCI for hosting us. Thank you for such an engaging discussion, and for latching on to obviously a very topical issue. I echo the comments that the other panelists made. Right, it's not something that lawyers or other professionals should be running away from. It is ways to find AI to enhance your work. And that's really what we should be thinking about, with the ethical and moral compass that, as of now, really only humans can provide. And also remember that it is you as the individual who has the best knowledge about your organization, right? And it's applying the data and applying the insights that a tool can provide to a particular fact situation. That is where your value lies, and that is where the value will still lie. So use the tools to the best that you can. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank each one of you, Mahesh, Ankur, Prakash. This was very insightful. And I hope that the delegates have also enjoyed the discussion. Over to you, Neha.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our distinguished speakers, Mr. Mahesh Parab, Mr. Ankur Mehra, and Mr. Prakash Narayanan. Your expertise and thoughtful perspectives have provided immense value to all of us. A special word of appreciation to our moderator, Ms. Attreyi Mukherjee, Your guidance ensured a rich, well-rounded discussion that connected technology, law, and ethics seamlessly. We also extend our sincere thanks to PwC India, a knowledge partner for this program. Their expertise in agentic AI, automation, and digital transformation has been invaluable in shaping this conversation and in helping us create a meaningful initiative for the legal and business communities. To our audience, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us this evening. We had a tremendous response with registrations, a clear indication that this topic resonates deeply across the profession. Your questions and engagement today have made this dialogue even richer. Today's discussion highlighted an undeniable truth that AI is no longer a future concept. It is a present-day necessity for legal professionals. Whether it is in contracts or compliance or litigation, technology is redefining how we practice law, and we as professionals must stay ahead of this curve. Can I have the slide, please? Right. As you can see, this is why Bombay Chamber, in partnership with PwC, is proud to introduce the AI and Law Leadership Series. You can see a snapshot right now. The series has been carefully designed to give practicing lawyers, in-house counsels, regulators, and compliance officers hands-on exposure to leading legal AI tools, global regulatory frameworks, and practical case studies. It is not just a program, it's a platform for legal leaders to differentiate themselves, gain strategic insight, and confidently integrate AI into their practice. We truly believe this initiative will help create a community of legal professionals who are well prepared, ethically grounded, and ready to take lead in changing the legal field in this transformative era. We will share more details in the upcoming week. Once again, I extend my deepest gratitude to our speakers, partner, and each of you for being a part of this journey. We hope you will continue to engage with Bombay Chamber as we build more platforms like this for learning, collaboration, and leadership. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Good night. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.